we're almost
some
done.
important
That's
elements.
okay. No. Okay, we're back with segment 3 here on Headline Surfer for the Sunday Conversation with Palmer Wilson, twice appointed and removed from the Southeast Volusia Advertising Authority on what clearly the public would agree upon is politics in its ugliest situation. Palmer, we now have you. Let's talk about a key date that gets the ball rolling on chaos. August 8th or August 7th?
August 8th.
August 8th is the meeting where you as chair, and we have video which will be accompanying all of this, the sidebar and structuring the lineage, where you're talking to the board about a contract for Headline Surfer, our marketing contract, which drew big headlines in the News Journal. The mayor of New Smyrna Beach, Adam Barringer, who was under a lot of scrutiny about ethics violations, allegations, where we were perceived as troublemakers because we're reporting on the stuff that needed to be cleaned up from municipal government. The street parties, a woman dying in a DUI accident after Cinco de Mayo, partying on Flagler, the whole nighttime alcohol-fueled thing, which Hamby's product of Beach Weeks got away from, more family-oriented. You took a lot of heat from chamber insiders and community business insiders who liked getting the money, no questions asked, the continuous flow. After Nicole Carney, Deneen had the board put a zip, no more coming from Flagler Avenue until the Carney thing was straightened out. That caused a lot of pressure on you and people critical of you, correct?
Well, yeah, but actually it was the county council voted 7-0 to put the restriction on funds to the Flagler Avenue merchants.
Right, but what I'm saying is it fell on you to have to enforce it. It's one thing to take a vote into land, and then you have people coming into the visitor center, I need my money, we don't have the funding. And in fact, I think at least one time you had a Delaletty coming in challenging you, where's my money? Why am I, how long is this going to take? And tell us about that briefly.
Well, she filed 2 grants during our grant process, grant applications during our 2013 grant process in June. I took the grants and went over and met with Ms. Aletti and explained to her, gave her a copy of the county council, explained to her that I'm returning them to her, that I would certainly put them before the board if she wanted, but they were going to get denied because of the county restriction, and that the only person that can change that situation would be the county council, that it's not the board.
Now, this is about you, not about our organization, the Internet newspaper, but it goes without saying in the 5+ years of first being located in New Smyrna Beach and establishing what was originally nsbnews.net off of NSB News LLC, the late Peter Mallory and I created Florida's first fully online Internet newspaper. And though my wife Serafina and I were the day-to-day people that would go out, shoot video, high school football games on Friday night, high school graduations, government meetings, festivals, breaking news, the works of what you would get in a newspaper except online. We never quite could get a foothold in because we were perceived as not part of that inner circle of the Observer, the Chamber, that kind of thing. So when we finally were able to get a breakthrough and win a contract, tell us about the impact of the videos and why this is important. Because we had a lawful contract, and as it all turned out, it was a big to-do about nothing. Tell us about that.
Well, let's get a couple of things straight on the contract. First of all, the board chair of the SVA cannot sign for or order anything without board action. So he cannot independently run anything. Beach Weeks was an unusual situation because Hamby was gone and there was a limited active acting director, Renee Televac.
And you had to oversee it. She was only here once a week, if that.
Yeah, she was supposed to be here 2 days a week, and they varied, and sometimes a half a day. So I spent a lot of time during maybe 6-week period, along with Scott Brown, the treasurer, stepped up and helped out too, actually trying to get in and help support the Beach Weeks and make sure it go on. So during that time, your contract came across, and unfairly so, it's been reported that I approved it, I directed it, or whatever else. That's not the case. I'm working with somebody that I really don't supervise. Ms. Talavas is a full-time employee of the West Volusia, not here, so I have absolutely no evaluative, a hire, fire, or anything else having to do with Ms. Talavas. And in fact, I was asked repeatedly for my opinion on your contract, which I gave her. But it was her decision to award that contract, and she certainly could have gone any other way she wanted, and I would have no power to change that. So people that keep using the terms, and many of the letter writers from the chamber and other people who kept accusing me of approving a contract or manhandling someone to do a contract, it's not true. I can't do that.
Well, let's be clear about this in terms of the do's and the don'ts. Basically, we put in for a request for 6 months at $10,000, and as you told the council yourself, you could spend 25% of that in one video shoot on a given weekend or for a billboard.
My interest in your contract, Henry, was the part that allowed us full access to 5 years worth of videos covering everything that happened virtually in Southeast Volusia. A video library complemented with
unprecedented
with a photo library, which nobody else has, including the News Journal. I was looking at it for the future for using clips and sections of those as part of our video clips, as future campaigns. Just the fact that you were out videoing or could be videoing the Beach Week's activities would have provided that along with our photographers. So to me, that was the component I liked. Now there's another component about you doing some advertising for them. What I've seen you do in that advertising, I think has been good. But my interest was in the video, and I said that on numerous occasions to Ms. Talavas when she asked my opinion, and I reiterated it to the council, and I believe Councilmember Wagner agreed with me when he found out about that video that that was a good deal.
Well, it's like Waverly Park Bench issue. Any other media outlet besides the News Journal, there's going to be a piling on of there's something there that's not copacetic because they want to continue the monopoly of it all goes to us. When we went back to on August 8th, you presented your budget. We had the video showing you outlining the different segments of it. You explained, for example, why there was no funding for the local Southeast Volusia Chamber of Commerce based on Canal Street and the Port Orange Chamber of Commerce because Renee Telavast had issues. Tell us just briefly, very briefly about that.
Well, when you presented your contract, where I wasn't present there, you presented a contract and had a written follow-up. Renee's initial concerns to me were she thought that it was too much money, and she was concerned about how fast news changes on your website. My response to her was, well, you can certainly renegotiate if you want to. You could just put in the contract something about if the rapidity with which news changes. I said, you can do any of that. I said, you can also turn this thing down. It's up to you. And I think I used the term repeatedly.
Or she could have said, I'm going to give it to the board.
Yes.
Well, let me
you
stop
had many
right.
options, and I said to her each time, it's your call.
Let me stop right there. First of all, when we met with her, she did show a concern about this is a lot of money. But once we explained to her the frequency of turnover and the costs involved in processing and doing these videos, a 5-minute video takes an hour of production time. We have 2,500 videos that are in YouTube and another holding place that was called Blip TV. You put them all together, we have in excess of 4,000 videos and probably another 25 to 3,000 raw videos. We have a photo library of over 100,000 stills. Even if you wanted to promote Beach Weeks, you would have had nothing to show for previous events to do that. That's where we came in.
And something else you need to understand, when I talk about using your video library, I'm not specifically talking about running your entire 5-minute segment. I'm talking about going in there and finding, maybe a 5-second spot or something that enhances something else that we were doing.
An illustrator.
Future. Yeah, it's kind of using the library as source material, just like you would use any graphics library as source material. But the benefit of this was it was included in a contract, and the price of that contract couldn't have bought us that kind of video coverage.
Now, let me stop right there and ask you. Okay, so she says she was concerned about the cost, although she admitted that she uses a service through Florida tourism thing where it's just ad slicks that doesn't have visuals to draw people in. It's generic, and the analytics for the 3 ad authorities basically reinforces why that has a very limited ability. Whereas you have videos and news entities to it, it draws people in. If you could shut, there you go. When you look at the issue of whether or not, Jesus Christ, shut that goddamn thing off. You can't fuck